my one, so that obviously I'm only hearing it in one place.
Oh yeah, there we are.
So say a quick hello. Is Arthur going to make an appearance? Is he?
He will at some point.
Yeah, he just loves to join in, doesn't he? Hi everybody, Loraine from Woolly Madly Deeply and Emma from Emma Sadler Designs, and it's the big exciting live cast on for Cowlabunga. Emma, do you want to quickly run over?
What we've been waiting for.
We have, with huge excitement. Would you like to go over the details and
yes,
a quick roundup?
So, if you go onto our Knitting and Crochet Across the Pennines Ravelry group, you'll be able to see a bundle of all the cows that are available in both of our Ravelry stores, and you can use the coupon code cowlabunga2020. And you'll be able to get 25% off any of those patterns. And then join us to knit along over the next 6 weeks. So you can use the code anytime between now and the 2nd of April. And then the knit along itself will keep going until the end of April. Right up until the last day. So loads of time to do more than one. And I'm definitely going to be doing more than one.
Now I've chosen mine. I'm going to be making the Brooklyn cowl. I need to go and grab the yarn. For those of you who haven't read the posts in the group earlier, I've been launching a pattern today. Called to check on one of my neighbours to make sure she was okay.
Sorry.
Only to find out that I've come back with no car keys. So I've spent the last hour and a bit tipping the house upside down. Jake, who is suspected of having the plague, even came downstairs, so I'm going to have to disinfect everything he's even remotely looked at, let alone touched.
Have you got plenty of disinfectant?
Yeah, we've got some spray disinfectant as well that's pet friendly, and a total overkill, obsessive hand washing and the like, just because you've got to. So my car keys are at Fiona's house, and I'll have to pick them up tomorrow morning probably.
That's a bit of excitement that you could have done without this evening, I think.
It is. So I was going to have the yarn all next to me, but I did promise that one of the things I'd do tonight was show you the prizes that I'd put together.
Yeah.
Now, being an obsessive purchaser, and I'm sure none of you can relate to this because you would never buy a book twice by mistake. There's a copy of Elizabeth Zimmerman, Knitter's Almanac. Which is the one with the February baby sweater. And it, for anybody, whatever stage of knitting you're at, it's a fascinating insight into how she thought about construction, using different weights of yarn, and learning to find your own way, which I think is brilliant. And I just love her approach. One of her patterns has a polo neck, a roll neck. Right. And she basically says pick up X number of stitches per inch around the neck and then knit in 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 rib until you've lost the will to live. And I just love that way of expressing yourself. So I don't know whether that's in that particular book, but that will go to one lucky person. Another one that I found, and again it was with either beginners or seasoned knitters in mind, and it's Jenny Watson Designs.
Okay. Sorry, Arthur has made an appearance. Arthur! Sorry, carry on.
That's alright, we'd miss him if he didn't join in. So,
sorry.
Jenny Watson Designs, and it's Pure Merino book 2, and it's all accessories, and I just love this hooded scarf thing.
I really love that.
And it's just a very simple reversible pattern. Really, really easy with a couple of massive pom-poms on it, but there's gauntlets, there's wristers, the neck scarf, very basic hat, a cushion, little girl's hat, a lovely textured cowl. I think it's quite a cute bag there. Which way am I going?
Yeah.
Just in terms of an introduction to lace.
Yeah.
But quite simple shapes and very clear instructions and sort of line by line, and I quite like that about it. And I thought somebody either starting out or just who wants a bit of a break from, you've got 7 sweaters on the needles and they're all either cables or colour work or a texture where you really have to pay attention, and you just want something that's back and forward and super easy and That's
TV
it.
knitting.
That's that. Yeah. And I've got this little bag of mini. Now I'm never sure how to say this. Is it skeins? Schemes? Somebody correct me, please.
Games.
These are all from Artisanal Alpaca. All different yarns, different colours. And there's just enough to have a little bit of fun with, or add a bit of colour to something that you're knitting. And I like the fact that there's different weights. That wouldn't put me off using them together at all, because I think you can create texture and movement in something by swapping weights. And the other thing, this is from a dyer called, I think the Ravelry name is Otiva or something like that. I've not had any contact with her for quite a while. But it's a hand-painted 2-ply. 20% Angora, 75% lamb's wool, 5% polyester. 738 yards per 100 grams. I'm sorry, I do not know what that is in metres. Someone cleverer than me can use a bit of Google foo and find that out. And the colour is called...
They might know.
Yeah, the colour is called Rose Bay, and it's hand wash only. But if I just show you that pretty pinks and purples, it's completely gorgeous.
That is gorgeous.
Lace weight, so not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
There's enough there to do a mahoosive shawl, or a couple of smaller shawls, or to double strand with some kid silk or something to make a sweater. There'd be enough to make something like Love Note, certainly in some of the smaller sizes, and that one is a little bit oversized, so I think there's plenty of flex in that sizing. Yeah. So that's the other one.
That.
Yeah, I'm hoping that someone out there will have fallen in love with it already. So that was from me, and obviously we talked about pattern codes and spot prizes and things like that for the best FO and the best WIP.
A nice weekly prize, who we think's got a lovely FO or a nice whip. And it doesn't even, like we said before, it doesn't have to be the most amazing photo. No. In fact, we don't want staged, get out a backdrop and, you know, your DSLR and all the rest of it. We want raw knitting photos.
Yeah, I mean,
knitting photos.
Yeah, and if that's how you normally photograph your knitting, that's fine. You won't be penalised for that. But I'm going to be just as excited if somebody like Fiona, who's the lady that I've been today, and she's only ever knitted squares, and she's only just learnt to cast off. And I don't know whether you'll have noticed, I was interviewed earlier today about going live on here and about Emma and I doing the virtual knit nights and other stuff with Hannah McNulty from ITV. I'm not sure whether that's going out on Border or across Cumbria or not, but if I find a link for it, I'll post it so you can see. But one of the things she asked me to do for a longer article on their website was to send photographs of finished objects, and she's looked at Emma's work and I've sent her some stuff of mine. She was very keen to see things that were modelled by me, which may be a little bit uncomfortable, but then I think I'm always talking about being plus size, loving your body, and make the most of what you've got. So now I have made an effort to try and model everything, and I took some photographs of some cardigans that one's waiting on sleeves, one's actually had its buttons, it's completely finished, and I've woven in all the ends, every single end, done it all.
Not one left.
Not one. So proud of myself. So I took a quick photograph, you know, a little selfie from above so you don't get the more chins than a Chinese phone book. And did that one and sent that one with it. And she was talking about I've got some pictures of Fiona's swatches from sort of the little squares she'd done from the first to the latest one. And then a picture of her with her knitting and her little dog, JJ. So hopefully that'll all be on the website. And they were asking about, can anyone join in? And I said, yeah, absolutely.
Anyone, everyone, the more the merrier.
Yeah,
We've got some people here tonight, you know, saying hello to us.
Cool.
Loads of people, giving loads of shouts out.
Hit me up.
We've got Bill, is here. Denise, Michelle, Catherine. There's a lag, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Yvonne, Helen. Anne Jones has just started watching as well. Loads of people come. Good evening, nice to see you. I always feel like Gwendolyn. I don't know why I do it. I do it all the time, like this with my hands, or cheese, grommet. me to. That's why I knit. Keep my hands busy, you know.
Oh, bless.
Oh, lovely.
Hello, Helen. Hello, Yvonne. I've just replied to Yvonne. She was asking about yardage. I think she means the lace weight. I'm not sure what the I'm not sure what the yardage is in these. I'm assuming they're only 5 grams each, but I could weigh those.
Yeah,
and
there's
give you some idea.
Together though, isn't there? So
There is, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, has everyone got their beverages? Get your mugs out, ladies.
Yeah, let's see what you've got.
I've got a cup of tea in my naughty mug. I did have a fruit tea earlier. I was going to have an adult beverage. Unfortunately, I've been called into work tomorrow. So I don't think that a late night and an adult beverage would be a good combination before I go for training.
No, probably not. And it is best to be sensible. And you've got to drive as well. And if you're not a big drinker,
I'm not.
Yeah, it would stay in my system.
I have to learn how to find out, because our college has shut down this week. So all the students are working from home remotely. But they want all us attendance officers to go in tomorrow, and we're going to be trained on how to track which students are actually using online stuff and who aren't. And unfortunately, those students thought they got away from me. I've got a works mobile, and I shall be ringing students up who are not doing enough work because we are not on holiday.
Oh, Catherine's got a grown-up beverage, a Kilkenny from St Patrick's Day. Yvonne's got peppermint tea. Loving that. Oh, Helen Gibson, what is she saying? Gooseberry crumble and ice cream. Oh, that's much more sophisticated than I've got. I have got builder's tea.
In your Rington's mug.
Yeah, and I've got, this is just, this is the potion that we call it. It's honey, lemon, ginger, turmeric, garlic. Lynette on Ravelry said to add some sage, so it's got a tiny bit of sage. It'd have had more in it, but I ran out of sage. I'm going to have to go to the shop tomorrow.
Is that your defence against catching the lurgy?
Yeah, defence against the dark arts. It's that.
Okay.
It's that sort of thing. We usually recover very quickly if we've got that. Yvonne's googled it and she says that's 685 metres. Thank you, Yvonne.
That's a fair amount of meterage.
That is the lot. So yeah, there's probably enough there to do sort of.
Yeah.
But probably up to a large size sweater. I'd have to go and look at. It's Love Not by Tin Can Knits that I'm thinking where it's there. Other one. Denise has got water. Oh, shout out to Denise. Well done. Yes. So if you haven't had enough water today, perhaps you might want to get some water to go with your
should have water.
tea or whatever.
Lemonade when my tea is gone. And my beer mug, but I'm not allowed to drink beer anymore though.
No, I can't have it either. Oh, Yvonne says that her 15-year-old hates the homework, but he does it. Well, that's because you're on top of things, aren't you?
Yeah, because
absolutely.
The schools are closed right across Europe as well, aren't they?
Yeah, but Yvonne's really good at making sure that there are rewards in place and.
Yvonne, how long has he been off
and
school?
The rules.
How long's the school been shut? That'd be quite interesting.
Vil says she. Sorry. Yeah, Vil says she's got a glass of red wine.
I'm so jealous. I love a glass of red wine. Tempranillo is my favourite.
Can you drink it still? Yeah.
I can drink red wine as long as I don't go like overboard. Yeah, you can't have beer, can have spirits, and can have wine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I rudely interrupted you. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Did you? I don't think you did.
Oh, I can't remember now. What were we talking about?
I've cast on today because as we are non-eligible for prizes, it didn't matter. I didn't have to wait until 7 o'clock. So I am making your. I don't even know how you say that word. Kogarashi, is it?
Oh, Kogarashi, I think. It was named after the yarn.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. So I'm making that. And my wool did come today.
Oh, what have you got?
It was meant to come yesterday, but it came today. So I'll show you what I'm using to make your cowl with first. I have some other stuff, but I can show you that later. Now, there you go. I like big balls and I cannot lie. How gorgeous is that?
It's beautiful.
And it is so soft. And for those people who can't have animal fibres or don't want to use animal fibres, there's no wool in it whatsoever. No wool.
Oh, that's good to know, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and I don't even know how much it was. I think it was only about £5. It's not majorly expensive.
You can very often get it on offer, can't you?
How much have I got of this? It is, let me have a look. I've lost it now. After, it's not a toy for you to play with. Oh, 603 yards or 551 metres in there.
Oh, that's good. Yvonne's saying that her son didn't need to be pressured because school only closed on Monday, so he's still kind of in that mindset. That's really good. Denise saying he's a good kid. My homeschooler thought he could get out of doing his work because school was out. Ha ha ha.
It's not holidays.
No, it's not. Catherine, what's Catherine saying? My 15-year-old is technically on spring break, so he's not out of school until March 30th. School board working on plans for distance learning. Well, that's good to know, because at least they've got something they can do. We won't have to rely on the gaffer tape like the photo that I posted yesterday.
Has Jake heard about his college?
I believe they're closing tomorrow, but no announcement has been made yet, and obviously he didn't go in today.
Right.
I thought it was quite sweet that Carlton from Top Gear, the driving instructor, rang to see how he was because Jake had told him that he was ill and he was having to self-isolate. So
he's probably thinking, when was the last time I gave him a lesson? Was it within the last 7 days?
Very possibly, yeah, very possibly. And he's got young children, Carlton, so that's going to be uppermost on his mind, isn't it?
To be honest, that kind of a job, he's in close proximity to lots of different people all day long, bless him, isn't he?
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Yvonne says that her son is thinking more grown up lately, so that's good, because he's working things out. Vacation over there starts the week before Easter. Yeah, I think ours have to go almost up to Easter.
Due to finish on Friday, the 3rd of April.
Yeah, I think they're more or less the same.
And then the following Friday is Good Friday.
Denise is saying that she's going to start with the hot cocoa cowl, and she's got an acrylic alpaca yarn that is really soft and lovely. I did see the colours that she chose in the Ravelry group earlier. And there's a deep, it's got sort of purplies and blues and things, but it all looks it's got a beautiful shine to it, and it looks jewel toned, really nice. So I'm quite excited to see that with the cream yarn and that level of contrast. That'd be super good.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to see.
Yeah. So I'm going to have plenty of colour work on my hands, I think, with the Brooklyn cowl, and I've picked some autumnal colours.
Lovely.
That they're in. I picked Starcraft Special Aran because I want to be able to give this to my mum without her killing it.
Yeah.
She is famous for being able to felt a rock. Honestly, she just
love it.
It doesn't matter what temperature you tell her put things on. Everything goes in on the cycle of murder, death, kill, boil.
Yeah.
But everything comes out super clean, even if it just fits Barbie.
Bless.
So never mind.
If only we were shaped like Barbie, eh?
Well, yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Hannah McNulty's just popped in. Do you like our video? Hello, Hannah.
Oh, hello, Hannah.
Yvonne she's saying she didn't really look into the knit along because she hadn't seen it earlier, and she's not had any crafting mojo. What patterns are eligible? Yvonne, if you have a look for the... Oh, I'll have to plug in my laptop or we'll be dead. Just a second.
Oh no. Oh, she's gone. Arthur, are you going to say hello? Look. Over here. Come over.
Oh, she's there.
Going to come and say hello to everyone. Look. Come on there. Can you see everyone? Hello. I think some people might have got a glimpse of your nose. Everyone wave hello to Arthur. You can't let us go live without saying hello every single time, and you'll hear him bark plenty tonight. He just can't help himself. After saying hello to everyone, Loraine.
Oh, lovely. Yvonne, sorry, I was interrupted there. Emma, did you answer a question about where the eligible bundle was?
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry, I missed that.
That's all right. So if you have a look in Ravelry, there's the Knitting Across the Pennines group, and there's a bundle on the right hand side of the page which has the eligible patterns. And
just
if you want, I can. Yeah, it is very absolutely fine. What I'll do is I'll post a link into the comments for that, and then it's easy to find, isn't it? There we are, Knitting Across the Pennines. So I'll just open that one.
Is determined to try and get my lovely new wool. He's just attacking me. Oh, and I've got Helen's bag. Do you remember Helen did some bags, didn't she? And I bought a couple.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got one of them here that I bought. And
Oh, marvellous.
Can you see that? It's got chickens on it.
Just can't at the moment. Oh, yeah.
Fancy hens.
Oh, isn't that cute? That's quite a good size bag as well, isn't it? What size is that roughly?
I don't know. And it's like it's the same size totes that I always get. I like them because they're big enough to put a substantial project and all your yarn and your hand creams and all the rest of it in.
Alright, I've just posted the link there for Yvonne if you want to have a look at those with some ideas. But you know, there'll obviously be prizes for the cowlabunga knit along, and I think there's one crochet pattern in the mix there somewhere. But if you want in the middle of knitting something else, that's perfectly fine as well. It just won't be prize eligible, but you can join in. We want not turning anyone away.
No,
absolutely brilliant. You know, we just want a safe space for people to come and chat and join in and ask questions and have some fun with it. Oh, hello, Sally Cowell. Lovely to see you.
Hi, Sally.
Sally's one of our heroes. He's working in the NHS and keeping us all safe. So well done, you. Oh, and Hannah says that we've inspired her to start knitting. So isn't that marvellous?
Excellent. That is super.
Denise is saying hello to Arthur. He's definitely saying hello back.
Oh, he's on one tonight, I tell ya.
Oh, bless. Catherine was saying that she'd sort of lost her mojo too and hoping that this will help kickstart it. Vil, she's going to be knitting the Rianne cowl, and she's that's with merino yarn, and she's ordered some other yarn for the Zig R cowl that you did.
Ooh.
I think you've got to do the dance to knit that one, Vil. I expect to see a video of you doing the Zig R boogie.
Which one's she going to dress up as though?
Yeah, which spice will you be, Vil?
I would quite like to see a photo. That would be good, wouldn't it? You Zig R cowl and you dressed up and doing the dance.
Oh, that would be really cool. In fact, I think we should all do that.
Yeah.
Yvonne's off to have a look. Michelle, she's going to get Scarborough Fair from Emma and needs to see the pattern for wool choices before she figures out what she's going to use. That's the best thing. Figure out what you like.
I know for a fact that Michelle has put in a online yarn order recently in preparation for being quarantined.
That's a good plan.
I'm sure she'll have some choices.
That's a really good plan. I might have done that, except I've got enough yarn to last to the end of the century, and we're not really gonna go there. No, honestly, I just do. Denise says she absolutely loves your bag.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh, Ville's saying she's up for the Spice Girls, so waiting to see that. You could have Emma and Jennifer join you for that one. You should see Jennifer now. Last time I saw her, she was a toddler, and she's absolutely stunning.
All grown up.
All grown up, and I don't know how that's happened. It's obviously.
Take them long. God knows how it happens, but it happens quite quickly.
It is mad, isn't it? Brilliant. So shall I go and grab my yarn?
You should do, yeah.
Yeah, and you can give me the help out on the colours there, ladies. Maybe put me right. I'm not sure whether I've got too much contrast, not enough contrast. Which way around? So I'll go and grab it.
We'll have a look. Excellent. Oh, brilliant, Bill. Which Spice Girl are you going to do? I like that. I always wanted to be sporty. Spice. Although with the name Emma, I should really be Baby Spice. Oh yeah, please PM the link. What's on her Instagram? Does she do videos or something, or modelling? That would be quite interesting to see, Bill. Denise, the bag is from Helen, Boltsworth Farmer, on our Ravelry group. She did them just before Christmas. I got got that one with the hens, and I also got another one. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's got on it. But it was another one the same size and a nice plain bag. And then she printed on with her son. I think they did them for the Christmas craft fair. So, oh, definitely get the behind the green door pattern, Yvonne. It's really good. I've had a good look at it earlier on, and I think I've got the perfect yarn. So I'm going to give that a go at some point over the next 6 weeks. Bill wanted you to have a look at Emma's Instagram. She sent you a PM.
Oh, fantastic.
And Yvonne, so she's going to possibly get your new pattern behind the green door.
Oh, lovely.
I love the song Behind the Green Door.
Yeah, we could do with a bit of Shakin' Stevens. I did have a brief look at Emma's Instagram last night, and I've got the link, and I'm definitely going to spend some time on that tomorrow. It was just a bit of a crazy day today.
Not to mention the keys as well.
Oh, Ville's saying she's not so sporty. Yeah, funny that, me neither.
That's because I said I probably would have to be Sporty Spice.
I think I would probably be Scary Spice.
Oh, I love it. But you're not scary.
I've had my moments.
I just haven't gotten the wrong side of you yet.
No, probably not. I seem to be all tangled. Now, I'd cast on for something just to see what these colours look like together, because I really like this sort of autumn thing, and I've found some cream Aran to go with it that is really soft. So, can you see that?
Oh, they're lovely colours.
There's a teal, a burgundy, a mustard, a khaki, sort of olive colour.
Yeah.
And then I've got this. It's I think it's Sadler super soft Aran, because it just washes beautifully and wears like steel. So that's the burgundy.
Burgundy, yeah.
The mustard.
Yeah.
It's not too bright and in your face. I like that it's a little bit more muted and rich. And then I just love olive or khaki, or as you'll tell from my top, it's kind of my uniform colour. And then any kind of teal I really like. So that's the combo that I'm going for. And at the moment I think I'm working with 4.5mm needles, but I may go up to a 5, I don't know. And I was debating about, do I play around with the sort of the trick for the colour jog, or do I just live with the fact that there'll be a little bit of a jog? Because to be honest, it doesn't really bother me. I know some people really hate it.
I never care about it. And to be fair, you can usually wear something with it hidden, can't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can sort of turn it round and onto the inside. Yeah. And if there's any munching going on in the background, it might be me with the naughty biscuit, because I've not had a dinner.
Is that because because you had no time because you were too busy looking for lost keys?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have pastels to keep me going in case I need a bit of a sugar buzz later.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Denise says beautiful colours.
They are beautiful colours.
Oh, and she says that her daughter worked with Scary Spice, and I'm definitely not scary. So there you go.
Aww.
And Yvonne's saying that she likes the cowl pattern because it's very flexible with yarn choice. Yeah, for sure. Any yarn will work, and it's got suggested stitch numbers or casts on. Sorry?
There's another song in there somewhere. Any yarn will do.
It probably is, yeah.
Yeah. It's written for everything, isn't it? DK, 4-ply.
Yvonne says they're pretty colours, so thank you there, ladies. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll work really well together, and I'm not sure where to put the cream in or whether to use the cream at all. I quite like the darker colours together.
Wow. I'm just trying to see. I've lost whether I'm in a... That's the only problem with trying to knit while you're talking. You forget what you're doing, don't you?
Yeah, I'm really good at that. Very good at forgetting where I am. I've got a cowl on the needles that I'd started, and I'm not enjoying it. So I thought I would quickly rip that out, and then I'm going to use that yarn.
Yeah, it's no point.
Thankfully,
when you don't like it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you can end up flogging a dead horse, can't you?
Yeah.
And going from there. Oh, well, I'm officially boiled now, so old lady hormones alert. The cardigan's coming off. If anybody else needs to divest themselves of some layers,
I'm in my pyjamas.
Please feel the
Again,
need. You're in your PJs. Now,
Yeah.
I forgot to ask before we went live. Have you got a bra on today?
I've got a bra on today, yeah. My bosoms won't be down by the floor anymore. I was mortified watching that video.
I thought it was just the style of the sweater.
No, don't ever let me go live without a bra on me, like very old lady bosoms anymore.
Oh, bless. You not sort of roll them up like spaniel's ears.
Oh, don't. It's funny. It's because I've lost all that weight as well.
Well, yeah, you haven't got a bra that actually fits, isn't it? And did you go and get measured and they put you in the wrong size or in a comfortable size?
That was a couple of years ago now for my stepdaughter's wedding.
Right.
I went and I got measured up properly in a shop that only sells bras and, you know, Sadie the bra lady and all the rest of it. Spent an absolute fortune on this underwear. And I did say at the time, this feels a bit uncomfortable. Oh no, that's just because you're not used to how a real bra should fit. You know, you'll soon get used to how it's supposed to feel. No, it is so uncomfortable. I can't wear it.
It's just not fun, is it?
No, but also I'm not sure if, because my weight hasn't quite stabilised yet. So I don't want to go out and buy all these nice new bras and end up in the same position that I'm in at the minute.
Oh, Yvonne says that's why she's doing stockinette in the round right now. So were you talking about just stockinette and being nice and easy, or?
I just said I'd lost what I was doing, didn't I?
All right.
So.
Catherine, I've climbed out of my stash, found an Aran weight burgundy for the Find My Way. I'll probably make another one with Malabrig or Rios once I get in touch with my local yarn store. Oh, that'll be just delicious in Rios. But an Aran weight burgundy, I mean, how classic is that going to be?
It's just going to be gorgeous.
It is. Helen's laughing. I think that's perhaps at the bra story and the spaniel's ears boobies.
Yeah, my boobies.
Yeah, we don't take ourselves too seriously here.
No, this is not the time for seriousness. This is the time for a bit of light-heartedness.
Yes.
And let's just have a nice safe space to, if we want to be self-deprecating, we can, can't we?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Denise is saying that the mail carrier caught her in her PJs this morning and she was so surprised when he rang the bell for a package. We have soap. In fact, Amazon sent 2 packages instead of one that I ordered. We might drop the extra one off for the homeless shelter. Oh, that's a lovely idea. And they will really appreciate it.
Well, they were saying on the telly, weren't they, that our food banks are running low because where everyone's stockpiling, that, you know, people would do their shopping and maybe donate a couple of tins of something.
Yeah, well, the girl in Asda's today was telling my mum that people were stealing stuff from the food bank trolleys.
That is disgraceful. Pasta
in particular. So there's going to be a stack of, you know, young people, parents, elderly people who've got nothing, who are waiting 6 weeks for universal credit or whatever their desperate situation is.
Yeah, because they could have had a job last week.
Yeah, exactly.
And then suddenly this week, the world has just imploded.
Yeah.
I mean, like my job, I thought I was going to be out of a job this week. College has been amazing and are continuing to try and find things for me to do. And if I haven't got, there's quite a few people who haven't got a role that they can do at home.
Right.
And they've given those staff members online courses and are paying them to do an online course.
Well, that's really good, isn't it? Because it makes them more employable for the future as well.
But unfortunately, some people aren't in that lucky position.
No, they're not.
Other people to basically steal the food out of their mouths, really, isn't
I
it?
know. Yvonne's saying that she's read that too over there. Denise, I'm really desperate to know what are your pyjamas like? Have you got Mr. Ben pyjamas and pink bunny slippers? Or do tell us.
You see the bunnies on mine?
Because we love to know.
See that? I've got a bunny there. You see my bunny?
And Denise says it's really funny that Catherine climbed out of her stash. She thought she was the only one who did that. Oh, Samantha's just joined us. Hello, Samantha.
Hi, Samantha.
Feel free to just hover around. Don't feel you need to chat. Just welcome to lurk and say
just
hello.
Grab a beverage and just sit quietly in the corner, sip away.
Yeah. Have we got anyone who's not reported in with their beverage? Or are we calling them quarantinis again today?
Quarantinis. It's quarantini.
Yeah, what's your quarantine? I do feel like adding whiskey to mine. Oh, and there's Denise joined us as well. Lovely to see you. So we've got two Denises. We're afternoon with them tonight.
Denise, that's just joined. I used to work with her in the school in Saudi Arabia when I lived out there.
Oh, how cool is that? Welcome.
I think Denise is back in America now. I'm not quite sure. I don't know where anybody is in the world at the moment, to be honest.
Oh, Helen says she loves your PJs, Emma, and she could do with a new pair or two. Where did you get them?
These are from Next, and I don't know if you can see. Look, I've got a bunny there. You see that bunny? And I think I've got squirrels somewhere. Let me see if I can.
Is that a bunny or is that a hare? Because it's got quite long ears, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's probably a hare.
I think that's a hare.
And then can you see my squirrel?
Yeah, this isn't a conversation I thought I'd be having today with another woman.
Are you pulling my top up and saying, have you seen my squirrel?
Yeah.
And my hair. Look at my hair.
Well, yeah.
That could be misconstrued if somebody came into the conversation.
Here we go. All right. What's Catherine saying? So, Catherine, provisional cast on complete. Mojo coming back. That's what we love to hear. Well done. Denise, they're plain lavender knit, but there's no bra on yet. So.
Well, it's all right because she's not on the camera, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't see that. So that's all good. I bet the parcel man got a treat though. Yeah, Helen.
The parcel man sees it all the time.
Helen Gibson saying definitely looks like hairs to her, and very appropriate where she lives. One that it will be, and of course it's a good job Gilly didn't see them because Gilly would have been off after Emma's pyjamas.
Arthur nearly caught a rabbit this morning on our walk in the fields. He disappeared into the hedgerow, and was just carried on walking because he does it all the time. He knows where I am. He never wanders off. Comes back within seconds because he doesn't like to be separated. And then the next thing, this rabbit ran right in front of me, scared me half to death because I literally nearly stood on it, and Arthur was probably about that far behind it.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. It's the closest he's came. He's nearly had a pheasant before. But we won't tell Michelle because she actually has a bunny rabbit.
Oh dear.
Pie crush, she calls her. But We don't talk about what
Okay, well, I'm just going to put a link to the Brooklyn KAL, which is the colour work one that I'm going to be doing on Emma's, for anyone that wants to have a quick snack of that. Oh, Denise is saying these are the types of conversations that come up in my knitting group. What does that say about us? And they're meeting a bookstore, so you know it should really be a bit more sophisticated than we are.
Highbrow. Far too highbrow for us, that.
Yeah, I bet it's really good though, because you probably get to sit and snigger. And do you get sort of armchairs like is it Barter Books at Alnwick that's in that old Victorian railway station, and they've got wing chairs and things like that all the way around the place. Yeah.
Oh, I love them. Can you put on the link for your one that I'm making, please?
Yeah, which one was it?
the Kogarashi.
Kogarashi, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention, honest. Here we go. So that's that one. And that's a very simple stitch called rose stitch, but you do have to be aware of what your rows you're on, so that you get sort of a diagonal with it.
That's why I sat there, because I've only done a couple of rows, so the pattern's not quite established yet. So that's why I'm sat there looking at it going, which stitch am I on right now? But it's okay, I've sorted it.
Oh, Helen's saying that pheasants are really dumb.
They are. They really are.
And the last greyhound, Jen, I remember seeing photographs of Jen, got a mole once.
Now, I know we've got a lot of moles around here. You see the evidence. But I've never actually seen one.
Oh, we call them Maudies here.
Oh.
So you'd be a Maudie catcher if you were a mole catcher. Yeah, and you'd have a Maudie trap that you would bury to catch the Maudie.
That doesn't quite sound right when I say it, like a Maudie. How do you say it?
Maudie.
Maudie.
Maudie. Mowdie or Y, I don't know. Yvonne says she's so glad she joined tonight. She hasn't smiled this much in days. Yvonne, you have made my week. That's brilliant. Lovely to know. Michelle, Emma Jane Sadler, Bun Bun's full name is Minty Pie Crust. And for everyone else, she says she's joking really, but we don't believe you, Michelle. We think that's Bun Bun's proper name.
She ate Michelle's plant the other day. So I think she was not only in the bunny hutch, she was in the doghouse as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah, she was a naughty bun. And then she got into the bin and was eating all the apple pods. So she's a little bit mischievous, which is why she's got the name Pie Crust. Minty Pie Crust, just to remind her. Behave. It's
only a matter of time.
Yes.
Denise says she knows she's laughing, forgot how many stitches just cast on, and thinks the tail's too short. No! Oh, that's just everybody's worst nightmare, isn't it? Oh, well, other than getting sort of 6 inches into a circular piece and realising you've Mobiused it.
Oh, no.
Poor Hannah is probably sat there thinking, Mobius?
What have I done? Hey,
it's a twisted loop, so that you see the other side of the fabric. We will put some links to show that.
Worst nightmare. I actually usually, when I'm knitting in the round, for people a lot of people might do this, I usually do 3 rows flat before I join in the round, and it's usually just enough to stop that twist.
Oh, I'm just going to put a link in because this is the other cowl I'm planning.
Ooh.
And that's called Doing Great. And surprise, surprise, it's colourwork, slip stitches, texture, just everything I love. You know, it's got interest and really keeps you sort of moving along.
Of a memorable pattern that once you know what you're doing, you're away.
Oh, Ville's just posted in the Ravelry group with a picture of the yarn for the Rianne cowl. It's a gorgeous rich burgundy. Is that the same colour as your glass of red wine? Because that just looks scrumptious.
And that is obviously where the name burgundy wine gets its name from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I show you my other yarn that I got in the post today?
Oh, please.
So, my niece and my stepdaughter are both expecting baby girls.
Right.
So I thought what's quite handy when you've got a baby and you can never have enough of burp cloths. So I've got some cotton and in 3 different colours, and I'm going to make some burp cloths.
Oh, that's pretty.
That one's
Is that
lovely, isn't it?
Rico Creative? Is that?
That is co-creative. So that's quite nice. It doesn't actually say what the colourways are on them.
We
So-
could always put the colour numbers in the links
Yeah.
later, couldn't we?
Colour number
If anybody
later.
particularly likes them, just drop us a quick
Then-
message.
This one,
Oh, that's
No.
pretty, isn't that? Is that a little bit of blue, or is it a minty sort of
Yeah.
aqua?
it's like a baby blue, I think. Really, it's all the gorgeous pastel colours that you would want for babies.
Oh, that's
Yellows
really lovely.
and blues and pinks. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, burp
then-
cloths are great.
One last one. It's more solid with little flecks of darker pink. That one.
Oh, I like that. It'll look like a speckle,
Yeah.
won't it, once it's knitted up?
Yeah, so I'm going to give burp cloths a go. I've not made any before, but I think they're quite handy. You can never have enough of them, can you? So,
Oh, Vil says that the yarn does match her wine.
oh,
So
it is.
there you are. It just sounds amazing.
She's just making me more and more jealous. Because I was going to have a glass of wine tonight, but never mind.
So has anybody else made lots of burp cloths and things like that? I know Denise does a lot of knitting for her grandchildren.
Hmm.
And for her own children, obviously, when they were younger. Is that something you've made a lot of, Denise?
I keep wanting to sing Blondie every time you say Denise.
Denise.
Yeah. I bet she gets that all the
It's
time.
almost irresistible, isn't it?
It is.
Somebody had posted on Facebook this morning, and he's doing a different song a day to remind him of his youth, and he'd gone with 10-pole Tudor and Swords of 1,000 Men. I have not heard that in years.
I don't think I've ever heard them.
You've never heard that one? Oh, you'll
don't
have
know,
to look it
maybe-
up now.
Maybe I would know it if you played it or something. So
Yeah, I'm not going to sing it. That's not happening.
why not? You said you would be a Spice Girl. So come on, come on.
What's the chorus? I think it's something like "Ooray, ooray, ooray, over the hill with the swords of 1,000 men." And it's a bunch of scruffy-looking blokes with sort of rockabilly haircuts, but dressed like medieval warriors.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not really sure what the thinking is with that one.
Where you oorayed, now I've just got Come on Eileen in my head. Ooray.
Oh, do you know, I'm going to be terrible now, but when my niece Shana, the one who's just had the little boy Jessie, and I made the Tin Can Knits cardigan and whatnot for her, for the baby, when she got married a few years ago, my brother did the wedding speech, and he decided to go with song titles as the theme, and
All right.
it was really well done. Colin's very good at public speaking, as most of us are in the family, and very comfortable, loves an audience.
Yeah.
And he started off with, try a little tenderness, and then went through all of these various song titles, and then went, oh no, I'll have to, and can I have a pen? And he got his wife Jo, and he said, let me cross this out, I can't have that in. And someone said, what is it? And he said, I was just about to tell you to enjoy the evening. Come on, Eileen. Everybody was falling around laughing, and it was just a really funny way for him to just finish his speech and sit down, and I thought Shannon was just going to die laughing. But that is so typical of my brother. Absolutely. Oh, Samantha says that I'm Nitty Spice. If you'd seen me earlier, Samantha, running around the house, tipping everything upside down and acting like a thorough lunatic looking for my car keys that were at someone else's house. Who does that? You'd have called me Naughty Spice.
Naughty Spice.
Oh, Helen Gibson's saying that the lad from Temple Tudor did the Crystal Maze for a series off you. I can't. Is it Eddie Tudor or something like that he calls himself? Eddie Tudor Paul or something equally ridiculous? Edward Tudor Paul or?
Oh, you've lost me now.
Oh, I don't know. Helen will be able to answer me because we're sort of of that era. We kind of,
Yeah,
you know.
Helen will know.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait for Helen.
She
She
is
knows everything.
So she is the oracle when it comes to
Yeah.
anything like that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know why Coco suddenly has decided that she completely loves me and doesn't want to leave me alone.
You didn't mention anything that could have been misconstrued as like food or something, did you?
I don't think I did. I mean, I have got biscuits here, so perhaps that's why she's here. And the other one's asleep in her bed. And if she could hear the crunching of somebody just having a little bit of my leftover biscuit, then there'd have been a stampede this direction.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Labradors can hear you open a sweetie wrapper at 5 miles.
Well, you know what? Even if my sound was on mute and you couldn't hear me and I started rattling around for my sweetie, she probably would hear it.
Oh, look at Arthur!
It's loud on this sofa! Arthur!
Well, you've obviously not told Arthur that. Oh, Helen's used a bit of Google Foo.
All right.
Marvellous. And it is Ed Tudor Paul according to Google. So there you are.
Goodness. Ladies, you know absolutely everything. I'm impressed.
See, it was just one of those things that I had filed somewhere, along with all that other useless rubbish that I seem to be able to recall and remember. Oh,
Yeah,
Bill says,
car keys are though, can you?
no. I mean, at least I hadn't put them in the fridge this time, but we're not going there.
No.
Jake did check, and Bill says, hello Arthur. She thinks he looks lovely.
Oh, he's naughty. He's still on the sofa. Arthur, what are you doing?
Well, you're on the sofa.
Well, of course I'm on the sofa. It's for humans.
But isn't he human?
No. Even though dogs are people too.
Are you sure about that? Because he obviously disagrees with you there.
Are dogs people too?
I think they
Are they?
absolutely are.
Dogs are people too, yeah. Say hello to your audience.
Oh,
love you.
Samantha's in the Ravelry group, and she says that Ville's yarn is a really pretty colour, and she's probably going to have to take a walk to the mailbox to get yarn and see if she can wind it up tonight to cast on behind the green door tomorrow. So there you are.
Behind the green door.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, Samantha, and finding out what colour you've ordered. That'll be really exciting.
Is anyone making Find Your Way? Because I absolutely love that one.
I think, is Catherine making that one?
Is that what Catherine was making?
I think so. I'm pretty sure Catherine was making that one. Was she talking about a burgundy yarn because she couldn't get the Malabrigo Rios? Which is just tragic, really, because it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Would anybody like to see proof that I put buttons on my A-loose cardigan?
I need to see this.
Right. I'll go and grab it just a sec.
After, she's going to get the proof to say that she's got the buttons. Do you believe her? Do you believe Lorraine's got buttons? Look, watch, she'll be coming. There she is. Oh, look. The buttons. Yeah?
Right.
Arthur's just barked and ran off because he didn't believe you and he's been proved wrong.
Oh, bless. Right, so here we are. So do you see buttons? Little shell buttons I've put on.
Oh, yeah.
There's a tiny bit of gape when it's got my boobage in there. But
It's just, you know, what God gave you and you have to deal.
well, it's not been washed yet.
That might make a difference.
So usually the yarn blooms a little bit and sort of fills in any thin scrappy bits and opens up quite nicely. And then of course you can just wet block it a tiny bit bigger. You have to be careful though with it being a tweed. It's got all the structural integrity of a wet tissue.
I think the colour looks lovely with that top that you've got on now, actually.
Oh, how's that? What do we think, girls?
Yeah. Do you not think? I think that looks lovely.
Well, it is part of my palette and it is supposed to
Yeah.
all go together, so yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love the little delicate cables down the front there.
Oh, the little 4 cables.
Yeah.
Not 4 candles.
Not 4 candles, no.
4
It's a
cables.
twisted stitch.
It's you do a knit one, yarn over knit one, and then you knit 2 rows, and then I think you do slip 1, knit 2, pass the slip stitch over to back to 2 stitches again, and then you increase again on the next right side row. It's very easy sort of 4 cable. So easy in fact that this idiot didn't mirror the cables, and they're the same on either side of the front of the cardigan. But anyone rude enough to notice would just get a slap.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think, unless they've actually made the pattern, I don't think anyone would think, oh yeah.
And there's no point in pointing it out. What's that going to achieve?
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, slap them.
Yeah, Catherine's saying, yes, I am. I'm making it. Vil says, very nice, Loraine. Oh, thank you. I'm very pleased with Ilias, the cardigan. Yeah. It is really pretty. Cardigan. Oh, Denise Burton Baban says that Find My Way is on her list for later.
Brilliant.
Yvonne says the cardigan suits me. Thank you very much, Yvonne. And Denise again says, beautiful sweater, great colour for you. Yeah, all those years of wearing summer colours, and everyone's saying, you look ill.
And now you've worked out why.
Yeah, and now I realise that I'm in autumn, and all of a sudden I was going, oh, that's really nice. Just the difference, isn't it?
Is Arthur in autumn? I tell you.
Is he very determined?
Yeah.
Oh, he could be.
You're a pain.
Okay, he could be very determined.
I think I was a bit worried about my roots earlier, because you know what, with us all supposedly going in lockdown and college is shut and my hairdressers is shut and everything, and I was thinking, I'm going live. I've got to keep up the spirits of the nation with Loraine. We
Absolutely,
can't let the down.
We can't let the country down.
We cannot let them down. And I'm going to have my roots showing. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, I think somebody posted on Facebook, I think it was my hairdresser Caroline, and she said, however desperate things get, don't use a box dye.
Well, I'm sorry, I've gone and bought one.
I nearly always use a box dye.
I've got the root one. I've got one for the roots, and then I've got a semi-permanent for the ends. Because I'm just, I can't be going on with grey hair.
Actually, I don't know if you can see it on mine.
You haven't got any?
I have got quite a bit of grey hair.
Really?
On Nature's Highlights, yeah. It's not coloured or anything, it is. But Vil will tell you that my mum didn't have a grey hair until well into her 40s, and even now, if you see the pattern photographs from today, there's a picture of the two of us together and a big arrow going at my mum, pointing at her. In case they think that's me. But
you do look alike.
She has got grey at the front of her hair, but the back is still dark. Still really dark. It's like someone's just done this slice of grey around the front. It's quite funny. And periodically she lets me colour it, and we've been trying to go sort of an ashy blonde, because she's got quite a lot of pigment in her hair, and it's the best way to stop it being too warm or too cool. If we go with sort of an ashy blonde, it fades out to a good colour for her. And whenever she does it, they always tell her that she looks about 20 years younger, but she can't be bothered with the faff.
Yeah, that's the only problem, isn't it? Once you start, you have to keep it up.
Well, that's what she said, and she said she would just rather grow it out, and of course, she can't see properly now. Helen Gibson says never dye her hair. You've got beautiful thick hair though, Helen, and the length of yours, I'd kill for mine to grow that long.
I'd quite like to go grey, but I don't think I've got quite enough yet that it'd look nice. Do you know, like, grey hair looks lovely. I really, really like it. But I'm not quite 50%, and I think it'd just look scraggy.
Oh, Denise is saying she's got 3 or 4 patterns from each of us, so she's going to have to knit crazy fast. You absolutely are, Denise. You could be winning the most finished objects prize.
Yeah, special shout out. But then, you know, at the end of the day, we are being quarantined, so we're going to have a lot more time for knitting. Some people think they're going to be doing housework, and I think they'll need to reevaluate that plan after a while.
Oh, Denise says, shush. I'm counting, and this cast on is being difficult. Set and try. Need to count again to make sure. Right, bud. Should we be quiet for a minute while Denise does that?
Is she doing a provisional cast on?
I think it was a long tail because she said she didn't have enough tail, but it could be provisional. Yvonne's saying she needs to dye her roots, but luckily the colour's not a hairdresser colour, but from a store, and she can do that herself. But you've got that amazing red, and sometimes you go slightly towards the purple, and it just looks fantastic on you.
Yeah, it's definitely her colour.
It's got that deep, cool colouring to carry it off, and I'd look like death warmed up in it. I'm just ridiculously jealous of anyone that can wear it.
Go away now, you've just bitten my arm.
Elville says stopped dyeing her hair a couple of years ago because she had to dye it every other week and really hated it. So she's grey at the front now, like my mum. And you're just still gorgeous.
I think, I absolutely love grey hair. And I wish it looked right on me. Housework. I just read that from Catherine about the housework. That is brilliant. Delegated
to the bored 15-year-old. Yeah, boredom is not a word you would use around my mother, because whoever was bored got to clean the bathroom and particularly scrub the toilet. My brother learned never to be bored.
Well, yeah. I don't know about you, but as a child, you weren't really bored, were you?
No, we were out all the time.
Yeah.
I never knew from one day to the next where we were going to be. Or my brother would probably be up a tree somewhere.
Yeah, sounds about right for the boys. I used to go across the park and I'd never be back until it was dark. Because you used to go out, obviously none of us had mobile phones, and you'd leave the house and your mum would shout, "Be back before it's dark." And that was it for the day, wasn't it?
Well, it would be, yeah, and we never had watches or anything like that. I mean, now you have phones and, you're connected everywhere and your parents can track you, and it's a marvellous invention. I mean, it could be. Oh, Ville's blushing there because we've said she's gorgeous, but she's rocking the grey. Just, embrace it, love it. Just stamp it out. Yvonne says she's gone darker now with the purplish red because the bright one got too much after a while and her photo isn't current, so I'll be off later to have a look at that, because I think the purple, she always looks really good in purple knitwear that she makes.
Yeah, it's definitely a good colour on her.
What's Helen saying? Only on rainy Sundays.
What, bored?
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. I remember asking my mum and getting a clip round the ear for the privilege of asking where Sesame Street was, because I quite wanted to go. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Wallop.
Why did she wallop you on for it?
Because it was a stupid question, because it was in America, obviously. But when you're 5...
Was it obvious though?
It wasn't obvious to me. I just wanted to go and meet... I wanted to go and meet Big Bird, and my absolute favourite was the sort of the hidden character that only a Big Bird can see, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Oh.
And I just loved that he was a secret that we got to know, and nobody else did. That Snuffy was sort of all between us.
I like the Cookie Monster. I still like the Cookie Monster.
Oh, I think my second favourite would be the Count.
Oh, he was brilliant, wasn't he?
Just the friendly face of vampires before the Twilight generation. It's just lovely. You wanted to cuddle him, and his voice and his accent. It was just really good.
And I don't know, was it Sesame Street? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in my head. Is that Sesame Street?
I think that was Sesame Street. Oh, Yvonne's saying she'll post a photo in the after party after she's covered her roots, probably at the weekend. Very much looking forward to see that, Yvonne. I think that'll go great with what was it Helen's pattern that you did? Was it Touch of Pink that you did in the drop spell? Was it purple and grey? Not really good with that. Anyway,
Did you post that on Ravelry?
She's going to post that over the weekend. Yeah.
Right.
So that'd be really good. What else? I'm really curious to know if anybody's been to see the Mr. Rogers film with Tom Hanks, because I just love Tom Hanks.
Oh, I really want to see that one.
Oh, Denise says yes, that your number thing definitely was Sesame Street. And did they also have one of these things is like the other? Was that one of the other games that they did?
I don't know.
I absolutely love that. And I'm really curious to know about the Mr. Rogers film.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, the people have watched it, because I don't think it really got into the cinemas here. People either loved it or hated it, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get to see it, and it'll probably be something that I watch at home on Netflix and probably blub my eyes out at how lovely he is as a character.
Is it a Universal? Because I think, aren't Universal releasing all of their brand new movies onto a streaming platform?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Because of this whole, obviously all the cinemas are shut and that. And I think Universal have said that they're going to stream everything.
Yeah, I'd just be interested to know what people thought of it, because certainly from the clips that I've seen and interviews I've watched with Mr. Rogers, and you talk to American friends of that sort of age group, and they'll go, "Oh, Mr. Rogers," and the feeling that he gave them of just, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
At a time when really you were just told to shut up and suck it up and forget it and don't talk about it. So I think that's really lovely.
Yeah.
And the things that he did as well about having the black postman or policeman or something, and washing their feet in the paddling pool on a hot day, and just breaking those barriers down really. Right. If Anne says all the cinemas are closed there, they're still open here.
My local one.
But I can't tell you anybody that's actually going to see any films.
I went to the cinema, not Tuesday this week, but Tuesday last week, and watched Military Wives.
Oh, was that good?
It was amazing. It was brilliant. I really, really highly recommend it. I laughed, I cried, I was thoroughly entertained.
Is that the one with Christian Scott Thomas from 4 Weddings?
Yes. Yeah, about the husbands going off to the Gulf War.
And the choir. Yeah.
And the choirs, because all the wives are on the base, and they have like a social society to try and keep them busy and active, and they try all sorts of things. They actually try knitting as well one evening, which was quite funny, and they start the choir, and it's brilliant. But we went on a Tuesday, which is Meerkat Night, so buy one get one free for your tickets, and also went to Pizza Hut beforehand, which is buy one pizza get one free. The whole place was dead. There was nobody out, and this was last Tuesday. And then since then, I've had an email from Cineworld saying that they're closing all their cinemas.
It's sad, isn't it? But it's a necessary evil at this time.
It really is.
Catherine's saying, Emma, I was just googling if Mr. Rogers was in that Universal release because she wanted to see it too. But anyone she knows that went to see it cried and cried, hopefully in a good way.
Oh yeah. Not, oh, am I watching here?
Yeah, I watched Angels and Demons the other day because I was chatting to Mike over email, and he said, "Oh, we're never going to get a holiday this year, and probably next year," and blah, blah. And I said, "Right, come on, put Angels and Demons on. You've got the DVD. I'm going to watch it here, and we can sit there and go, been there, been there, been there, been there, been there. Oh, had a meal there."
Love it.
And at the end of it, he felt so much better. He said, "Oh, that was such a good trip. That was our first trip abroad together, and it was really lovely."
Oh, it's so nice when you can do things like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it was quite funny that, you know, we've got just a daft thing in a movie of, oh yeah, and we've been round that church, and we've been round the Pantheon, and
yeah, it's fab.
Been to this fountain and down these steps, and yeah.
I have to watch Vera to recognise the scenery. It's not quite the same.
I think with Vera, though, even though I don't live over that side of the country, I've been over enough to look at it sometimes and think, that's not where they're saying it is.
No. Right.
That bridge isn't anywhere near there.
Like the Transporter Bridge that was supposed to be in Hartlepool, but it's actually in Middlesbrough. Yeah. It's actually right next to my college where I work. They had a scene the other day outside a cafe in Redcar, which was quite funny. Yeah.
Oh, Denise is saying that Tom Hanks has COVID-19. I believe he and Rita, it said on the news, have been released from hospital care now.
They're fine now, aren't
but
they?
Are feeling, well, they're probably feeling a bit blah and a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
But
Idris Elba's going to.
out of danger. Yeah. Well, it's a difficult thing because when you're acting and you're in films and things like that, you're forever on one plane and onto another, aren't you? Lots of travelling.
Yeah. All over the place. I like Idris Elba. I love Tom Hanks, actually. I was saying to my friend the other day, when all this Me Too started and it started coming out with different actors and, you know, people were getting named and stuff, I actually said to my friend, if it comes out about Tom Hanks, I'll be beside myself, because he just seems like such a lovely guy. Absolutely adore him, and luckily it didn't, so...
Yeah, Yvonne's just confirmed that Tom and Rita are recovering, so that's good to know, because obviously she'd had breast cancer, hadn't she? So she was obviously in a high-risk group, so that would be concerning.
Yeah,
Catherine has been using her Google Foo and says Mr. Rogers was released by Sony Pictures, but she can't see if they're streaming their releases yet. I'm sure they'll have to at some point.
I don't know where Universal are going to stream these things. I just heard it on the news that they're releasing them straight to a streaming service.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to jump on the bandwagon and release their own streaming service and make you pay another £5 a month. You know,
so I'm trying really hard not to touch my face, and then I'm leaning on my hand and stuff like that. I'm thinking I'm going to have to really scrub my hands.
Well, I nearly sneezed a couple of minutes ago, and I thought, I can't sneeze because I'll have to go and wash my hands.
I'm sure we could have a quick break for that. That'd be fine. I'm sure I can waffle through it.
Go for a comfort break at some point.
Yeah, that's good.
Because we have been waffling for over an hour already, you know.
Have we?
Yeah.
Goodness, that went quickly.
Yeah.
Seems to be available on Prime Video. Over where Denise is. I think you probably have to pay to view it, but that sounds like a marvellous thing to do on a Sunday afternoon.
It's only like what we used to do when you used to go down Blockbusters and hire a video, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, lacklustre video.
Yeah, and you get really disappointed because the person before you hadn't rewound it.
Oh, $2.99 plus the Amazon Prime subscription, so it's obviously dearer for other people, but that's really good. I'm definitely.
Well, we've both got Amazon Prime, haven't we? I know I.
Yeah. I've been. Has anybody else been watching Picard on Amazon Prime?
My husband's been watching that.
Did he like it?
He did. He said it was good. But he's got like a flatmate that he lives with in Saudi, and so he has to kind of share what's on the telly. So one night they watched Picard, and he was quite into it and was thinking, oh yeah, we'll carry on watching that. And then the next night, this guy put a movie on instead.
That's not very helpful, is it?
I know. He's going back to Jeddah tomorrow, so.
Oh well.
Well, yeah.
As long as he leaves the remote control, it's all good.
Well, to be honest, I'm not really too impressed because the country's closed everything down, won't let them come in and go out, and I can't get him home, yet they're quite happy to send him from one end of the country to the other for whatever reason.
Well, that's just ridiculous, isn't it?
I know.
That's really silly.
So I'm trying not to think about it, really, to be honest.
Yvonne Becker, not yet. I'm rewatching TNG.
What's TNG?
I'm just thinking the same thing. My head's obviously just exploded or something. Oh, Catherine says I'm watching Picard on TV and loves it. Serials, not episodic, so you don't have to watch it each week. I've been watching it every Saturday, usually before Emma and I Zoom together or do our kind of catch-up chats and our strategic waffle. It's usually when I watch Picard and before I go to Slimming World, but of course I can't go to Slimming World anymore. All the groups are closed. They are trying to do an online solution, and I don't know if they're actually talking about doing that for free.
Oh, Next Generation!
Oh, well done, Helen. There you are. I'm sat there thinking, TNG,
How did we not
TNG.
know that?
Yeah, and I love Star Trek. Why did I not know?
I was thinking G&T, that's why.
Yeah, I can see why that distracted you. I'd have probably been heading in that direction.
Yeah.
I love Next Generation. See, my mum was never such a big fan of Picard, and yet I loved him.
I think he's brilliant.
And I think it added a lot of gravitas to the sort of series, really, that this Shakespearean actor was willing to do it. It's a little bit like having Sir Alec Guinness in the first Star Wars movie.
Was he?
Yeah.
Ah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I like him. He's in my favourite version of Scrooge.
Oh, I love Alec Guinness. My favourite film of his is a really old one, and that is School for Scoundrels.
Never seen it.
Oh, you have to watch it. It's so funny. It's all about manipulation, and he runs a school called the School of One-Upmanship.
All right.
Where you've got to get one up on everybody else, and this poor downtrodden man who's just treated really badly by everyone goes to this college of one-upmanship and turns his life around, and he's just really funny. Oh, Helen, yeah, Kind Hearts and Coronets, that's a really good one, isn't it?
Kind Hearts and Coronets.
Have you not seen that one?
No.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, and anything with sort of Alec Guinness I'd happily watch, but School for Scoundrels is my absolute favourite, and his version of Scrooge is just, well, any version of Scrooge is
He
Christmas
played Jacob Marley, didn't he?
Yeah. Michelle's saying School for Scoundrels is so funny. I can't remember if I watched there was a remake of it with the one that was married to Angelina Jolie. Billy Bob Thornton was in it.
Right.
And I think I got sort of 10-15 minutes into it and got stuffed that and put the other one on with Alec Guinness and Ian Carmichael and Terry Thomas.
I thought you were going to say Steve Martin, because I don't know why, but it just sounds like the sort of thing that Steve Martin would do.
He did a remake of one or two of the Clouseau movies, didn't he? And I couldn't bear those.
Right.
I think when you've seen the original ones with Peter Sellers and David Niven,
yeah. I never really watched the Clouseaus.
Oh, my parents... Well, no, my dad really loves that humour, and Colin and I thought it was brilliant. And my mum, to this day, still doesn't get what's funny.
Is it... didn't we have this conversation the other day? Are those the Pink Panthers?
Yes. Yeah, that's the ones.
Yeah,
and has anybody watched The Three Amigos with Steve Martin?
Yeah, and Martin Short, is it?
Yeah, well, there's a scene in that with they are going to the singing bush, which is singing, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes, just forever.
Okay. Yeah.
And at the singing bush, they summon the invisible swordsman who is going to turn up and rescue them from all the baddies.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, in his excitement, I think it's Martin Short is sort of shooting with the guns and all over the place. And you just hear this noise of a body hitting the floor.
Oh,
and
no.
just dust coming up round this person shape, and the invisible swordsman is clearly dead on the floor.
Oh no!
And we were howling with laughter. And my mum says, not a word of a lie, well, I can't see what's funny. He's invisible. That's right.
And did you laugh at that?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
my
absolutely.
mum's a bit like that actually. We could all be laughing at something, and she just.
She does not get Blackadder. I mean, what is that about? And she doesn't like Red Dwarf. Oh, Helen's saying, yeah, you're absolutely down my alley here. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels and The Man with Two Brains.
I haven't seen that one, but I have seen Dirty Rotten.
Is it Dr. Hoffer and Melhay? Just brilliant. The Man with Two Brains is so funny.
I'll have to look it up.
But Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Michael Caine.
Weren't we about Hello Hello? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Hello Hello. We were talking about that, weren't we?
Yes.
And I said I'm going to have to rewatch all those because they were just such funny humour.
Oh, Arthur Bostrom. And I bet that's exactly what my French sounds like. I'll probably massacre it. The poor French people. I apologise for ever even attempting it.
Oh, absolutely adored that. Saturday night on the BBC, everybody sat around together and watched things together, didn't they?
No, there was no bad language, and it was inoffensive, and it was fun, and it was gentle humour and poking the fun at everybody.
There was a little bit of bad language in LOLO, but it wasn't meant as bad language.
No, it was accidental mispronunciations, wasn't it? It wasn't
I was
deliberately.
just by the door.
Yeah, I was just pissing by.
Oh, I love it.
And how many people say, you know, I should say this only once. Oh, here we go. Helen Gibson says, we went to see that at the theatre, LOL, and Hairflick could hardly keep himself from creasing up on the stage. He was corpsing and laughing all the time. He was just so good.
Oh.
I always like, was it Sam Kelly who was a bit like Clive Dunn in Dad's Army, where he was, when they were doing the salute, and he was always just a little bit behind with the Heil Hitler. He only ever got the Hlur out. Never managed to say the whole thing, and that always used to tickle me. But yeah, it was just all in fun, and it poked. I like that it poked fun at absolutely everybody. Yeah. It laughed at the British, it laughed at the Germans, it laughed at the French, and the stuff with the Italians was hilarious. But
nobody was immune.
No, and it was even-handed with that. Nobody was ever really the baddie, were they? They were all making the best of a difficult situation, and I love that about it.
The hand that they were dealt.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good thing. I bet that was really funny live.
Oh, I'd love to have seen that.
Yeah. We, some friends of ours were going to see Mrs. Brown
my mum and dad like Mrs. Brown.
Her live show. Or his live show. His. Yeah. His. Dressed as a woman, though, isn't it? And I really like Mrs. Brown.
Favourite. I'm not. I don't know why. I've never warmed to it really.
I don't know. I think you should watch the episode with the bikini waxing, and anybody that's seen it will be howling with laughter at the thought of that one.
Okay.
That's worth a go. And I did recommend an episode of Red Dwarf, didn't I, the other day?
Backwards.
Yeah, if anybody's a Red Dwarf fan, I think it might be episode 1 of series 3, where everything is backwards. I thought I was going to break a rib laughing.
Actually, thinking about Red Dwarf as well, do you remember the British Empire?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Gordon Britas. And the sad thing is that anybody sitting here that watched the British Empire has worked for Gordon Britas, haven't they?
Yeah.
They have had him as their boss, and he was just a mixed match of every awful employer you've ever come across in your life.
Unbelievable. See, Helen doesn't get it either. I'm with you, Helen. I don't get Mrs. Brown's Boys. My mum, who has no sense of humour at all, bless her, loves it. But
see, my parents love it, but I haven't enjoyed the last series or 2. And I think it was when the actor that played Rory left. Okay. And the fellow they've replaced him with, and it's not his fault, bless him, he's just doing his best. I just have not warmed to him, and it doesn't flow as beautifully as it did before. So I didn't even watch the Christmas and New Year specials this time, so I couldn't tell you what's going on with it. Yeah.
Sometimes they're better off just letting a character go rather than trying to put a new actor in.
Yeah. Does anybody like Not Going Out with Lee Mack?
I used to watch that. That's the one where he shares the flat with the blonde lady?
That's right. Yeah.
Don't they get married in the end or something?
Yeah, in the sort of later series, they're married with 3 kids.
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen it for a very long time, obviously, because I didn't really know that they were together.
I think it's only in the last couple of years that's occurred in the series. And I have to say that my all-time favourite episode of that one is, I think it's called Camping.
Right, okay.
And they go camping in the woods. And just to say that there are clowns involved, as a warning, I do not like clowns. They creep me out. But I thought I was going to choke laughing.
Right.
Motherland. What's Motherland? Is that the
Motherland.
Is that the series with the mum where everybody else just takes it for granted? And maybe I'm thinking Life.
Even on Sunday?
Motherland. I don't think I've seen any of that.
No, it doesn't ring a bell for me. Is it a new one?
Tell us all about that, Helen. Tell us a bit about Motherland.
Interested to hear.
Yeah, I'm really curious now.
Yeah. And where it is? Where can we find it?
Yeah, is that on sort of BBC, ITV, or?
I'm not sure. While we're waiting, can I just say I do love The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
Because my son is very much like Sheldon in many ways, and it just creases me up.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sheldon, and it's hard to choose your favourite character.
I said in the office this week, when I get my next dog, I will call it Kuthrapali. So I just think that would be a funny name for a dog.
Well, it would, yeah, and I suppose at least for unusually he would get a kiss. Because generally he doesn't, does he? Oh, Helen's saying she's just checking to see if she's got the name right in case she's got it wrong. You're probably right, Helen. I think we're just totally out of touch.
Probably Yvonne saying she's lost. We've lost her. She probably doesn't know because it's all the British ones.
British Empire probably didn't make it onto the continent. Yeah. It was very, very British humour, and it maybe wouldn't have sold abroad in the way that some other series would.
I suppose it was a bit of a pre-Office thing.
I think it was better than The Office because whereas David Brent, there's just nothing likeable about him.
No, it's true.
But with Britas, he's actually got a kind heart, and he does think he's doing the right thing for everybody. He's just spectacularly wrong, bless him.
Yeah.
Yvonne's a dissenting voice here. She says she hates The Big Bang Theory, never got into it.
But no, actually, I know a few people who never liked it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like Marmite. You can probably split a room with it, where people, it's just not their thing. And surprisingly, I thought Jake would like Friends.
All right, my Caitlin loves Friends.
But yeah, Jake was not interested, and I got him to watch the episode I picked for him to see was the one of Ross where he goes to his girlfriend's house, this new girlfriend he's trying to impress, and he's wearing leather trousers.
Oh my god, that creepy.
And then he has to take the leather trousers off to go to the toilet or something, then can't get them back on, and then he's on the phone to Joey who says put lotion on your legs, and then he's trying to pull the trousers up and slapping himself in the face. And
and then he tries the talc, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it was just so funny.
Yeah.
Helen says, Google tells me a group of alpha mums navigate the challenges of parenthood and try to balance the social and professional lives despite frequent hang-ups and misunderstanding. So, life then.
Yeah.
I'll check that out, Helen. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, well, I'll get back to you on that. It could be really funny. Catherine, Big Bang Theory was the first series finale that my son had ever been through. Bawled his eyes out because it was over. Not something he'd ever been able to binge watch on Netflix. So he got the experience of watching once a week. Break for the summer until it ended. See, that would be a different thing, isn't it? Because we've all grown up with having to wait till next week, and I quite like the fact that with Picard on Prime at the moment, I have to wait till Friday for the next episode, and I'm enjoying the anticipation of it.
And then you get people like me who just wait until the series is over. Game of Thrones, I would never start a series until the whole series was aired.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones until series 6. So I then had to spend several weeks binge watching all the other episodes.
Yeah.
So that, because I had not a Scooby and I didn't know who anybody was with series 6. And my dad's going, is that bird that plays Daenerys, is she and such and such? And I'm thinking, I don't know. Who's Daenerys? Game of Thrones. And then he was astounded that I hadn't watched it. And I think the thing is, I'd watched the first couple of episodes, and then they killed off Sean Bean. What's that about?
I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Honestly, it's just so rude.
Yeah. Because right up until the last second, you didn't believe it was going to happen, did you?
Well, yeah, I thought somebody was going to rescue him.
Yeah. Oh, Philomena Kunk, she absolutely cracks me up. Have you ever seen her?
I haven't, but what a name.
It is, it's not a real name. It's the lady who does those adverts that are on at the moment. Don't compromise.
Oh, I don't know, because I tend to record stuff and then fast forward the ads, so I never see the ads.
It's the Asda adverts, and it's saying like Jane wanted to go for an adventure weekend, and Robert wanted to have a weekend at the beauty spa, so they compromised, and then they end up like in a mud pool somewhere and getting rescued by the army. She says, "Don't compromise." It's that actress. She plays that Philomena Punk.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have a look. Yvonne says, I'm with Emma, too many cliffhangers nowadays to watch weekly. Yeah, I don't like that where you get to the end of the episode and then you're sort of fretting all week as to whether they're going to be there or whether they're not.
And the other thing that I found as well, especially with Game of Thrones, when the new series was coming out, I had to watch the last series and maybe even the last 2 series to remember what was going on. So I think I watched Game of Thrones about 10 times in total, which is quite frustrating.
It is a bit difficult sometimes to keep track, and especially when there's multiple characters, because it's a big cast.
It is a big cast, and you couldn't remember who liked who and who was on what side. Yeah, but I did enjoy it.
And my parents read the books and absolutely loved it, whereas I just sort of dipped in and started watching once season 6 started and thought, yeah, I need to know who these people are because I haven't got a Scooby.
Everybody talks about them.
And I quite liked the ending, even though other people didn't. So I'll be controversial there. Someone will probably poke me in the eye.
I didn't dislike the ending as in what the characters did and where they had them and everything. I just didn't agree with how quickly they got there. I think they had about another 3 series squidged into 3 episodes.
Yeah, it was a bit difficult, I suppose, that he'd said he wanted it to finish and he'd agreed the ending and he's the author. Helen says she's reading the book slowly. Yeah, I think I'd probably work my way through them quietly and then just figure out what related back.
I would like to read the books, but I refuse to start reading them until he's almost finished the last one, because the rate that he's rating them at, I would get so frustrated to get to the end of the one that he's done so far and then have to wait another 10 years for the next book. You'd have gotten it all again, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it would be frustrating. Helen says she's not seen any of this series, and I think it's, I know with Lord of the Rings and things like that, I was definitely you should read the books.
Yeah.
You should absolutely read the books. And I've read them and read them and read them and read them. And I could probably find my hardback copy of the trilogy, and that one I've quite looked after, but I had a paperback one, and that got thrown out maybe a year ago. My Uncle Chris bought me that when I was about 8.
Oh, wow.
On the basis of we'd been really good, he was looking after us, and he said, oh, you can choose a book from the bookshop. Colin wanted a comic and sweets, and I said, I want this book. And he just looked at how thick this book was, and he said, you can't read that. And I said, I bet I can read it in a week, and I did. Just out of spite.
Yeah.
But then I read it again and read it again. But I have to say that I put some little markers into the book, because I never reread the chapters with Shelob the spider.
Oh, that spider was horrible.
Yeah,
that just, oh no.
And if I'm watching the films, that's the bit that I put on pause, go and make a cup of tea, and then fast forward. Catherine, I'm in season 4 of Game of Thrones. Only started watching after the controversy of the ending, and I couldn't get over how angry the fans got. Yeah, it's that thing that if you've been watching it for several years, though, I think people feel an ownership, don't they?
They do.
That it's kind of their thing, and when really it actually belongs to the author. And
I do think a lot of it was surrounded the writing rather than the actual storyline, though.
Well, yeah, because he didn't write it. He just basically gave them a handful of post-it notes and said, this is where I think it's going.
I mean, to be fair, the guy probably doesn't need to work another day in his life now, does he?
No. And he's got other things he wants to work on. He's excited about other things. Helen is saying that's a bit like Stephen King's Dark Tower series, when he almost died after leaving the heroes hurtling to their deaths.
Oh, I've I've not read any of that. I have read a few Stephen King books, but not those.
I don't think I've read anything of his since I was a very young woman. Probably I've read Cujo. And did he write The Shining?
He did.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, he did. And
what was the one about the cow? Is that Christine?
Christine,
I read that. And the one with Kathy Bates in the movie Misery? I read that.
Yeah. And then Carrie the Firestarter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I read that.
Oh, Stephen King nearly died.
Oh, there you are. When he was run over. Goodness me, that's careless, isn't it?
Is that when he got the inspiration for Misery?
Do you know, I made a jokey post in the group earlier because someone said they thought that Stephen King was writing the plot for 2020, and I'm kind of wondering if it's him or is it Dean Koontz?
Dean Koontz, yeah.
Yeah, Yvonne will put me right on that.
My daughter came home going on about, there was a book that was written in the 1800s and it predicted the Wuhan virus, and she was going on blah 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 blah, and I went, no, it was Dean Koontz, and it wasn't written in the 1800s, it was written in the 1980s. Because I read it. I don't remember the name of the book, but he did pretty much accurately predict quite a lot of it, you know.
Well, that's interesting. Yvonne says she waited for years for Stephen King's next book to come out. I think you and all his other fans, really. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got one of his to read while I'm in quarantine called Needful Things, which my dad read many years ago, and he said that it was one of the creepiest books he's ever read.
Yeah, maybe that's something to read when you've got someone there to cuddle in bed. Or is Arthur going to look after you?
Arthur will look after me. I'm not sure. It just says on the front, buy now, pay later. I think it's about consumerism and having to buy stuff or something. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if anyone's read it, if they can maybe give me a hint as to whether my dad was right, whether it's really, really, really scary or not.
Oh, Helen says she's read it. What did you think, Helen?
Oh, tell me if I should wait until I'm not on my own, because it's quite a big book. So I don't know if I would get through it on a visit from my husband. It's quite a chunky tome, but I do remember my dad having read it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad wouldn't read anything like that. He's Helen says it's scary.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, that might be off the list until Phil's home.
Well, I'm quite disappointed with his books quite often. You know, you think I read one of his called Revival, and it was about someone using electricity and trying to revive people that had passed away.
Oh, that's a bit keen.
And it sounded really good, but it was pants. The idea was really good, but no, the execution was really boring.
That's a shame. Oh, Helen's saying that Needful Things is one of his better books.
Oh, that's good to know then. I'll give it a go. Maybe on the long summer nights, not when we're.
Yeah, you don't want to be wandering upstairs in the dark after something like that, do you?
Yeah, or stuck in the house and can't get out, and you know.
Yeah, did everybody get into watching Stranger Things on Netflix?
Yeah, that was a good one.
I really enjoyed Stranger Things. I mean, I love anything with Winona Ryder.
Yeah, she's brilliant, isn't she?
Yeah, she was really good in that.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see her. I think the last thing I'd seen her in was the Star Trek movie where she plays Spock's mother, and I'm thinking, she's just a teenager.
How can she play
What's going on here?
Do you know what? When I was watching Stranger Things, I thought the casting was brilliant because she really did look like that little boy. She looked like she could be his mum.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It really was. Caitlin enjoyed watching that with me. So, got loads of notifications. Sorry, it's loud.
Bill, I watched the first series of Stranger Things, but still got to watch the second. Well, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but it was really good, Bill. Yvonne says that her son loves it too. Catherine's not watched it.
I think a lot of the teenagers did enjoy it, actually.
Yeah, Jake thought it was brilliant.
Did he?
As did Rosie. Excuse me, coughing. Goodness me. I'll just stop there. Yeah, sorry. I did manage to cough into my hand, but I'll have to go and wash it now.
Oh, no.
Now, Denise, I was going to look that one up, Stranger Things. Daughter suggested it to her. So, yeah, it seems to be the youngsters that are sort of with the programme on that one and then telling us all about it and us finding it by accident.
Mad.
But, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Took me a couple of episodes to get into it because I was thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I really enjoyed that one. That was a good one.
Coco's just turned up again.
Coming along with my cowl. Just trying to remember which stitch I'm on while I'm nattering away.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. Is everyone else getting on with their patterns?
Have you finished your cast on now?
Yeah. Did she turn? She probably muted us while she was trying to count.
I think there'll be a lot of people who muted us.
I would mute me. My annoying accent.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? I've managed to rip back my yarn.
Excellent.
See that? I've got that on the screen now.
And
I've got some more here, bowing a bit.
Yeah.
So it should be enough to do that. And I'm debating about pairing it with this cream.
Oh, that's nice.
So doing great.
Yeah. Nice contrast.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I think it needs a strong contrast rather than too close in colours.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah,
and I did
that.
swatch the other day. That's some leftover Cash Soft Aran, and the colour is called Japonica. It's kind of a cool, soft, dusty pink. And for Yvonne, I'll tell you that that's the colour of my bathroom. She's been to my house.
Yay!
Here we are. Oh, Catherine says I've completed one repeat of Find My Way. Yvonne says that her stockinette sleeve is great. Brilliant, because sleeves are evil and they do need to be conquered.
Sleevegate.
Yeah, hashtag Sleevegate. Bill, yep, I finished the garter rows, ready to start with the lacy bit. Cast on 160 stitches, so her stitch count is a lot higher. That's going to be a nice loop though, isn't it?
That'll be lovely.
Really good. Denise says, got the cast on and now have a couple of rows knit, but she's been distracted, so I'm not knitting very fast. So that's good. It's not a race. We've got till the end of April.
Yeah.
So, let's just enjoy one another's company and have a good old gab.
Well, that's what we do all the time, isn't it?
Oh, it's somebody called Jess joined us. Hello, Jess, and welcome.
Hi,
Do feel free to comment or post if you want to, and feel free just to look and see what we're about.
Yeah.
If you're more comfortable with that, that's good. We're fine.
We don't mind either way.
So let's have a look at your knitting, Emma. Can we have a little close-up view?
Oh, hang on. Can you see? I don't know. It's not really showing very well.
Oh, yeah, I can see that row stitch.
But hopefully it's going to change into a lighter colour soon. So we'll be able to see the pattern coming out a little bit better. Because I always find darker yarns don't show your stitch very well, do they?
Not always, but it does give a nice contrast as it does the colour changing and moves from one to the other. And you can see the sort of the slip stitches and the texture. Oh, what's Michelle got? Knitting the back of a cardigan, so halfway up the rib for this now.
Oh, is that? I think she's making something. Don't tell. I think that's for Mum.
Oh, okay. Is it a secret project that we can't discuss?
Just in case, because sometimes Mother watches, doesn't she, Michelle?
She says that she'll be knitting the cowl from Friday, obviously when Mum's not watching.
Yeah.
Yvonne says that's why she likes knitting sleeves when we've got chatter and then it distracts her from the boring bits. Oh, I'm so with you on that. You're working in the round though, aren't you? I actually like to add a couple of extra stitches and work flat because I purl faster than I knit. I don't know why that is.
I was actually going to have a word with you because I picked this pattern of yours and I think you like purling.
I might.
I'm purling. I like to knit, and I'm purling.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The purl stitch.
Well, you could always get to the end of the row, wrap and turn, and then go back in.
Come on, tell us about the pearl stitch.
Oh, yeah, my mum being Scottish has quite a pronounced accent. Stop it. Labradors who suddenly want attention. I may have to throw them out the back door for a quick pee. Yeah, definitely getting that message there. But my mum, when I was learning to knit and had to do the row back, and I said, I need you to teach me this stitch, and showed her my pattern, probably about 5 years old or something. And she's going, oh, peril, I'll show you peril stitch. And then I couldn't get it from the way that she showed me. I couldn't understand it at all, so I had to phone my granny in Edinburgh, who knit samples for Edinburgh Woolen Mill and places like that, and was amazing at colour work and absolutely fantastic. And she described how to do it, and it in a way that a child would relate to. So you stick the needle in from this side and you stab it, and then you wrap the yarn round from this way and you throttle it.
Excellent.
And then you pull it back through and then lift it off and drop it. And that was the way she kind of explained and she said, and it's pearl. And I said, well, yeah, but when you said it earlier, you said peril. And she said, we're Scottish, dear, that's how we say pearl. But it's P-U-R-L, pearl. So for years, I was asking people to help me out with peril stitch, and my little granny in Edinburgh sorted me out.
Yeah, peril stitch. That's why I don't like it. I said to you the other day, didn't I? I'm risk averse. That's why I don't like a pearl stitch.
Michelle, no, that's a jumper, and it's finished. Just need making up for Mother's Day. She is at home with no internet, so we're safe to say this.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we'd never tell anybody anyway. I mean, well, as long as she doesn't do a catch up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to have to leave you a moment to throw these dogs out, so I'll leave you in charge, Emma.
Oh, don't leave me in charge. You don't know what you come back and do. I think everything will have fallen apart. I've just gone to sleep. I don't know if anyone can see this. He's obviously given up with trying to get my attention. He's just a little snoozy there. Can everyone see Arthur? Don't wake him up, because he'll be just getting his ball. And I think I've got distracted on this, because I don't think, don't tell Loraine, but I don't think my bumps are quite in the right place. But we're hoping that nobody will notice that. Keep it between us. Loraine won't watch this. Just you and me. So I can't wait to see what everyone's knitting and crocheting tonight with us. You can post some finished pictures on Ravelry, or some whip pictures. That would be fab. I love to see what colours you choose, because I like blue. Strangely enough, I have a bit of a thing about blue, and I always seem to come towards it, and I have to be forced to look for a different colour. So that was quite good, where both my niece and my stepdaughter having little girls, because I'd never have bought pink, and I was quite pleased when my stepdaughter had a little boy last time, because everything was blue, my colour. So that's great. I mean, even when my daughter was born, she got blue dresses. She didn't really wear much pink. It's not my colour. Purples. I prefer purple, but not too much. Yes, Denise, he does look very comfy, doesn't he? And he's not supposed to be on this sofa. He has a sofa over the other side of the room, which is for dogs only. No humans allowed on the dog sofa, and no dogs allowed on the human sofa. Unfortunately, he seems to be taking advantage of the fact that I'm a bit too busy to shift him off, and he's decided to get his head down. He's even snoring, so he's being very naughty. Are you back?
I am back, yes, sorry, I just took the opportunity for a very brief comfort break and some hand washing.
Excellent. I was just showing everyone my very, very naughty companion. Look at this.
Oh.
And he's fasted and he's snoring away.
Well, that is quite a relaxing sound. He's obviously doing that to comfort you and let you know that he's there. Should any needful things come after you.
I think he's just taking advantage personally.
Yeah, well, that's, you know. Oh, Denise says he looks very, very comfy.
Yeah, he's forgotten the rules.
Doesn't he just? And who can blame him? He just wants to sit with Mummy.
He would get even closer if I'd have allowed him.
Oh, Denise is saying blue's a great colour. And Arthur seems to have completely forgotten the rules. Yeah, well spotted. Yes, I could just see that sort of edge of a furry bottom, but didn't like to ask.
Somebody forgot to wax.
It's minor slurping stuff. I got a meat order through the post today.
Right.
And the parcel arrived, and the sellotape at the stop wasn't fastened properly. And I said to him, "This has been opened." Well, not by me. You'll have to tell them. And I was really tempted just to say I'm not accepting it and throw it back at him. And then I thought, oh, how much trouble am I going to have? So now I've sent a customer service email to the company who say that it'll take them 3 days to respond. But I went through my box, and it was 2 hampers, and it was a buy one get one free. It's not really a buy one get one free, it's a con. Let's be honest, it's just to get you excited about, oh, you're getting something free, when actually you're just paying for it. But it was a reasonable price. It's always very good quality. It arrives in good condition, and it lasts and freezes very well. So I've got no complaints on that score. But then I go to look, and the chicken breasts and things that I've ordered are in there. But the mince is gone, the burgers have gone, the steaks, 2 packs of 2 steaks, 2 packs of 2 of these fiery like big burger things really around.
Right.
They call them a grilled steak. It's just a fancy shaped burger. And there were some meatballs and other things missing, so I've had to email them with a big list, and I'm expecting to get a refund sometime next week, because if I've ever had a problem in the past, they are really good at sorting it out and very apologetic. But the courier just said, well, it didn't happen with me, and I said, well, I'm sure it didn't, but I said, somebody's been in that box. Oh
my God, that's awful.
Well, I suppose it's the thing of the state of the country and things at the moment, isn't it, that people are going to do that.
It's every man for himself, I suppose, isn't it, at the moment?
Well, it is certainly for some people. Not for us, because knitters aren't like that.
Knitters are nice and kind. Oh, what have you got in your mug?
Oh, crochets. Actually, it's just water.
No, what have you got on it?
Oh, on it says art image.
Yeah.
Image is everything.
Excellent.
It's my friend Marcus, who's a brand photographer.
All right.
And every time I see him, he says, oh, do you want a mug? And I've got about 6 of these.
Excellent.
But they last for years.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep them and roll with it.
Fair enough.
Oh, I didn't show you that very well, did I? Never mind.
I saw it when you went up like that.
Oh, well.
Fine.
I think it's because I'm looking on a different screen. I've got several screens open, so can you see it now?
See it now,
yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Oh, timid. Yeah.
There we go.
He's based at Counfith.
He's what?
Based at Counfith on the way to sort of Lancaster area. He was telling me once that he and a friend of his had worked together on a photography assignment for a bathroom company.
Right.
And one of the guys who worked for the bathroom company had said, I've got a sexy girlfriend, she can do the modelling.
Right.
And sure enough, she was a beautiful girl. So she's got this tiny little bikini thing on, and they get her into the bath and covered with bubbles and all the rest of it, so that it's sort of modest and nothing's on show that shouldn't be.
Okay.
And obviously she's not naked under there, she's appropriately covered.
Yeah.
And they start taking photographs, and then somebody helps her out of the bath, smothers her with a big towel and fluffy dressing gown so that nothing's on show again, so that she's very comfortable. Marcus had young children and, recently married within a few years, and obviously was quite uncomfortable himself about making sure that this girl was safe and she was well looked after. And she got out of the bath, and just a reflex thing, she reached into the bath and pulled the plug out. Well, this wasn't a bath that was plumbed in. It was on a set in the studio. And they'd filled it with buckets. Of course, all all the water went out. And she's surrounded by lighting equipment
Oh no.
and cameras.
Oh.
And Marcus said, I don't know what I was thinking. I grabbed all of the lights and the cameras and ran away from the water. But my mate, who'd arranged the job, grabbed the gorgeous girl in the fluffy dressing gown and carried her off like a hero. I said, what was I thinking?
I love it. Oh no, that is just one of those stories, isn't it? Oh,
yeah, but I like that he was the gentleman and that they were all very kind with her. And apparently when they did the shower scenes, they had to remind her again. Cause,
I was going to say, I bet she was mortified, wasn't she?
oh, she was really upset and thought she'd ruined it. I mean, at the end of the day, it was soon all dried. Somebody was out with the hairdryer drying the vinyl floor to make sure it was absolutely safe. And it was all sorted. They were back up and running in a couple of hours. And they got all the photographs they needed, and she really did look fabulous. She had beautiful curly hair, shoulder-length curly hair, and it was sort of tied up into a little bun. Admiring my muscular around me. Tied up in a little bun with sort of a loose curls delicately over the top, and you know, like something out of the Galaxy Flake adverts. Only the wonderful, was it Flakiest Chocolate?
Oh yeah. You like those adverts.
Like that girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all a bit funny.
I wonder how many flakes they'd have sold if they'd have never had her in the advert.
I don't know. She was a beautiful lady. Absolutely stunning.
She probably still is. We're talking about her in the past tense.
I know. We should be asking that question actually. Does anybody know who she is or where she is now? I'm just going to refresh this screen to the live and see if we've still got peeps. Whether we've got any extra comments. Oh, there we go.
We got new comments? Anyone there?
I don't know. Just trying to work my way down the
does.
Oh, I don't blame them. Emma Jane Sadler's just joined, it says.
Yeah, because my screen went off and I had to turn it back on.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everybody's probably gone for the evening.
Yeah, it's getting late. Arthur's gone to sleep.
It is getting late. Yeah, it's time for me to take my sort of nighttime hot chocolate and then go from there. Yeah, my quarantini. Well, I think we should say thank you for everyone that's watched with us this evening. It's been really great fun and lovely to see some new faces.
Oh, it's been great, and I've really enjoyed everyone joining in and chatting to us and interacting. It's been lovely to hear from them.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see your whips and your FOs, and do pop into the Knitting Across the Pennines group. Oh, Denise says she's still knitting.
Oh, right, cool.
Because it's only 4 o'clock there.
Oh, brilliant.
Catherine's supposed to be working. Oh, Catherine, I love you. It's 2 p.m. for her, so we're all right, actually.
That's something
Isn't that funny?
About.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Oh, Yvonne's here, but she's still knitting.
Excellent.
But it's 10 p.m. for Yvonne, because obviously she's an hour further on from us.
Ahead of us. Is Yvonne at work tomorrow?
Oh.
Is she working from home? I don't know. We didn't ask.
Yeah, Yvonne, are you working from home now? We'll give you a minute to respond, because there's obviously a lag between us waffling and this catching up.
I was supposed to be working from home from now on, but I've got to go in tomorrow. But next week, do you reckon I'll be able to sneak in a little bit of knitting while I'm working? No one will see.
Well, they won't. And, you know, if you're doing your course stuff,
that's fab, isn't it?
Between screens and things like that. Michelle says, thanks, ladies. Made me laugh, and what a lovely change. Denise
brilliant.
says it was really fun. So, yeah, awesome.
Michelle doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to hide a little webcam in her room and stick it on one day.
Oh, Ville's still here, but she's too busy knitting, and 10 o'clock where she is over in the Netherlands.
Oh, Anne Hall is watching.
Oh, and Samantha's just popped back in, it says. Oh, Yvonne's working from home, but on sick leave at the moment.
Oh, get better soon, Yvonne.
Yeah, I hope you're better soon. And if you're feeling a bit blah, then do pop in and say hello, or drop us a message. And I can't wait to see your hair when it's done. I'm really excited for that colour.
But we're going to check in every day, aren't we? Just make sure everyone's doing all right.
We are, yeah. We're going to be live every day at some point. I should mention that Saturday, we are planning a bit of a knitting marathon.
Oh,
I'm going to put that in the group, and I'm going to try and investigate some new software. I don't know if we can stream to YouTube live at the same time. I need to find out.
Right.
Somebody suggested something called StreamYard, and at the moment we're using Zoom and OBS Studio. OBS Studio lets us add more guests so we can do interviews and things. And
I think ideal in the coming weeks. When
absolutely, yeah. When everybody wants to know. And one of the people that we're going to be talking to, and again, I don't know if I'm massacring this name, April at skeino.com. Skeino,
right.
Skeino. I never know whether it's Skeino, Skeino.
I always say Skein.
I always say Skein, but I'm really not sure. Helen Gibson says ta-ta for now. Night, Helen.
Doodles.
See you soon. Yvonne says she thinks it's a reaction to a vaccination because she's got asthma and got a vaccine for pneumonia. Oh, that's a bit rotten, but
take care of yourself. Yvonne.
Yeah, just be careful and be kind to yourself. You know, you don't have to recover instantly or any of that. Just quietly work on boosting your immune system and lots of relaxation and being kind to you. That's what we want to see. But Saturday we're going to be live on Facebook between 1 and 4. We'll be tag teaming that one because obviously we'll need to do the odd comfort break or letting the dogs out or, you know, noshing or whatever. So we'll be in and out where one of us will always be here. And then we're back on again at 6 o'clock in the evening, GMT, UK time. London, for anybody that's having to pick a country from a list.
Yeah.
We'll be back on again, and probably, I don't know, we're thinking a couple of hours, but it might be later if lots of people are on and chatting, and neither of us have got to get up early in the morning, so we can have a late night with you if you like.
Going running on Sunday morning.
Oh, are you? Oh.
I always run on a Sunday. If I don't keep up with my routine, I'll end up looking like the size of a house by the time quarantine's over.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of sort of thin Barbie and then a very fat kind of bursting out by clothes Barbie, and I do worry that that's going to be me. I need to
I don't want to
get my head around that and not eat all the things, and here I am sat with oat biscuits in front of me. It's not a great start.
That we can still get out and exercise. So
yeah, we're quite lucky with that at the moment. Yvonne says that's why she got the vaccine, to keep herself a bit more safe, and absolutely rightly so, Yvonne. Well done. I applaud you for that. I'm definitely not one of the anti-vaxxer brigade. I think if something's designed to help you, then you know you should absolutely take that and look after yourself. So yeah, good. Glad to hear it.
So hopefully some people will come and join us again on Saturday. Might have had some more progress on our cowls.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you the colour work, and I've got a swatch to show you where the pearl rows are knitted backwards. It's worked flat, standard colour work, worked flat, and I have worked the wrong side rows by knitting them from the front backwards. And I figured out I was putting the legs of the stitches the wrong way and having to tidy them up, and all of a sudden something just clicked and I got it right. So I'm really quite pleased with it, and I find it's an easier way to keep my tension much neater. But you know, see what you think. What I'll show you is not blocked, it's not steamed or anything else, and there's one or two uneven stitches because I've not particularly been careful. And I deliberately chose a pattern that I haven't released yet that has big hearts on it, and the floats are 12 stitches.
Yeah.
Only for 3 rows, but there are some 12 stitch floats where you have to grab them in the back. And I just wanted to prove that if you do those pearl rows backwards and just are very careful with your tension, that it does work.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah,
Look
awesome.
forward to that.
Yvonne doesn't know about Saturday yet because she's planned a video chat with your partner. That's absolutely fine. The videos will be here as soon as we finish tonight. Facebook will do whatever Facebook does with it, and faff around and record it, and it'll be there in the group for you to watch.
Yeah.
And the same will happen on Saturday, and anything that we record on here at some point I wrestle with Facebook to download it. Tonight I've recorded most of it, apart from the first 2 minutes, using OBS Studio, open broadcast software for anyone who's interested in the geek bit. And I will be editing that tomorrow to go onto YouTube, and I might cut that into a couple of files so that, you know, maybe they're 40 minutes here or 3 lots of 40 minutes or something like that, so that it's not quite an epic. You can have part 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, because we have been here for 2 hours, you know.
Yeah, it's been lovely though, and thank you.
You know what? It's flown by. It doesn't feel like we've been nattering for 2 hours.
No, it doesn't. It feels like a really nice, friendly knitting group, and isn't that just funny that we talked about all the things that Denise says they chat about and laugh about at their group.
Well,
and it just shows it doesn't matter if we're tens of thousands of miles apart or a mile up the road. We can just keep connected and support one another. And if you've got questions, or if you've got worries, or you just want to bounce an idea around, or you need somebody to just lift you up a bit, then pop in.
And also, I don't know, maybe somebody might like to volunteer to come on with us.
Yeah, who would like to do an interview with us and join us on Zoom, and then it'll split the screen into 3 then.
And they don't have to stay on with us for the whole session. They could just
not at all. Actually, on Saturday, one of my neighbours, assuming that Jake is on the mend and he's just recovering from a cold, and that I've not got any ridiculous plague, as we're calling it.
Unclean.
Yeah, my neighbour Fiona is planning to come down, and she's a new knitter who joined our monthly craft group. And she just wanted to show people the garter squares she's been working on and just say a quick hello. And I don't know that she'll be on video for very long. She'll probably sit next to me or briefly wave at everybody and show you some of what she's done, and then she'll move back behind the camera. But yeah, if anybody would like to be interviewed and chat more, we're really up for that.
Definitely. More the merrier.
Brilliant. Right,
so it's been a lovely evening.
Thank you very much, everybody, for giving us your time and all the lovely comments. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see everyone soon.
Yep, brilliant. So I'm going to, if I look baffled at the moment, I'm looking for the big Facebook button that says end live video, and it's not, on the page that you're all on.
Yeah, they keep hiding it from me.
Right, I'm going to